Welcome everybody to the live edition here of Inside Out. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you guys for joining and watching this podcast here tonight. I do very much appreciate it. We have an interesting one for you guys here tonight. And man, I'm actually appalled. I don't even feel real good about doing this one because you guys all know how I feel about the death penalty as a whole and where I stand on it. And I'm not a big fan of it at all. So, but we have obviously by the title description of this video where we stand in this. Man, thank you guys so much for joining and being part of the show. I do appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get a shout out to everybody's in here tonight. Trey, what's up, Trey? Thank you so much for joining the show tonight. My good friend Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? Hope you're having a good Thursday evening. And I think there's somebody else in here. Let me see who else is in here. Nope, it's just those few people so far anyways. But nonetheless, thank you guys for being a part of this show. I appreciate it. As you guys can see, the title description of this live tonight, we're dealing with the execution here in Alabama. And I got some information to show on the screen tonight, and I'm not a very happy camper. So as you guys know, Alabama, Mississippi, and all the southern states out here in the South are really starting to become part of the limelight as of late. I've done a show on Mississippi with the 215 bodies found in the backfield behind a jail in Mississippi. I was like totally appalled about that. I also did a show on the individual who lost his heart out of his chest inside prison. So yeah, Alabama, Mississippi, and all the other southern states out here are really starting to become popular, as you guys can see. So we're going to go ahead and get into the topic here tonight with this. And again, it just turns my stomach. I don't really like doing these type of podcasts, but I have to get it out there. I have to share it with you guys and also educate the masses of what's going on. I just absolutely appalled with it. And Cynthia got in here and said this real quick in the chat. She said, "Hope you're feeling better. You sound better." I feel better. At least the phlegm and all that is gone. It took a long time for me to get over this dang chest cold or cold, or whatever you want to call it. So, but it took about a week. So I was out of the game for about a week or so. So it sucked. Sterling said, "A little early, my friend." That's I understand that, but I wanted to get this started and get it done. But anyways, thank you for joining, Sterling. How are you doing? Good to see you in here. So let me go ahead and get the story up on the screen and read to you guys what is all going on and all of that. So again, if you're haven't paid attention or haven't heard the news, they're going to do an execution out here in Alabama on an individual who's going to try something new. So I guess now we become lab rats, of what I consider lab rats out here in the South. So I'm going to show you a share screen. So the screen's going to get all weird on you. So bear with me on that. Let me get it set up right now. And I'll show you guys the topic for tonight. Bear with me. I got to hit all the little buttons. Okay, so I hope, and now put yourself in the chat if you guys can see this. Give me a thumbs up. Can you guys see on the screen what I'm talking about? Yes or no? Before I carry on or read anything, I don't want to look like an idiot here. So can you give me a thumbs up in the chat, please? Let me know if you guys can see this. And if I need to zoom in more. Can you guys see it, read it? Is it clear? Perfect. Thank you, guys. All right, moving on. All right, so here's the title, and this is coming from, all credit goes to New York Times. Some of you know who this news organization is. All credit and whatnot go to, again, for the record, New York Times. This is not my story. All right, the title says this. Alabama set to carry out first U.S. execution by nitrogen. Yep, you heard that correctly. And you guys already know how I feel about this. You guys can see what's going to happen here. And look at this. I wanted to show you guys this picture real quick. See, even people are out there, showing their support on this. And I totally love that sign. This is absolutely disheartening and sickening all into one. All right. So as you guys can see, here's the title. The state plans to execute Kenneth Smith. All right. If you guys don't know nothing about him or what he got put in prison for, you guys can read his story if you look it up and all that. I'm not even going to do the detailed story on this guy because I feel, in my personal opinion anyways, that right now it's not important. If you want to know what he got put in prison for, you can go check it out. But right now, this is about the execution. All right, moving on. On Thursday, using the untested. Now, I'm gonna highlight this, guys. This is untested. Put your comments in the chat and let me know what you think about that. Untested. That means this individual right here is going to be the first, as I call, the very first lab rat to get tested with this new way of trying to get rid of somebody. Yep. And they're going to use this on this guy. What's your take on this? It hasn't even been tested. So nobody knows, ladies and gentlemen, what's going to happen here. How this is going to, if he's going to suffer, if he's going to be put in pain. This is absolutely inhumane on all levels. Moving on. Mr. Smith was served his last meal and his lawyers plead with the Supreme Court to intervene. Yeah. There you guys have it. So let's move down. Again, there's the picture of what's going on. This is why people, this is absolutely bullshit. But here's the story. This was published on January 25th, 2024. There it is. It was recently updated, and gentlemen, right there for your for the record. Updated 6:46 p.m. Eastern time, and it was reported by Nicholas and in Atmore, Alabama. All right. Alabama is set to carry out its first American execution using nitrogen gas. Nitrogen gas. Ooh, that ought to be very pleasing. Anyways, on Thursday evening, potentially opening a new frontier in how states execute death row prisoners, despite concerns from death penalty opponents about the untested method. Now, you guys can see right there. Again, they said it plain as day. Untested method. Oh, this turns my stomach. Anyways, guys, moving on. Oh, I hate these podcasts, but I got to get it out there. So I got a mixed bag of emotions going on right now. Several courts, including the U.S. Supreme Court, have allowed the execution to move forward through lawyers, though lawyers for the condemned prisoner, Kenneth Smith, have made one more last-minute request for the nation's top court to intervene. Sad. Here's some more. Prison officials have planned to begin the execution around 6 p.m. Central Time, though they will wait for Supreme Court to weigh in before moving forward. Mr. Smith, 58 years old, God, that's still young, anyways, is one of the three men convicted in 1988 murder of a woman whose husband, a pastor, had recruited them to kill her. So basically, it sounds like a plot for murder. It is what it is on that, but I think they're going about the wrong way. This does not heal or make things better. But of course, everybody will disagree with me on this. It is what it is. Anyways, the protocol released by prison officials calls for strapping Mr. Smith to a gurney, or strapping, my bad, Smith to a gurney in the state's execution chamber in Atmore, Alabama. All right. After which a mask will be placed on his head and a flow of nitrogen will be released into it. So he's got to breathe this stuff in. Oh, God. Depriving him of oxygen. So basically, he's going to suffocate, guys. Unreal. Look at this. Depriving him of oxygen. And this is the only way we can do this. There's no other, decent, respectful way to do this. This is what we turn to now. Unbelievable. Anyways, moving on, guys. Mr. Smith's lawyers say it would be the first nitrogen execution in the world. Wow. It would be the second time Alabama has tried to kill Mr. Smith after a failed lethal injection in November 2022. There you go. In which executioners could not find a suitable vein before his death warrant expired. Unreal. Unreal, guys. Holy shit. Anyways, moving on. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I appreciate it. I see you guys in the chat. Just bear with me. Once I'm done reading this article, I'll come back on screen. Nitrogen hyperphagia, can't say that word very well. I do apologize on that, has been used in some assisted suicides in Europe and elsewhere, though the method Alabama is using differs from common practice. Holy shit. Lawyers for the state have argued that death by nitrogen, as it's known, is painless, with unconscious occurring in a matter of seconds, followed by stoppage of the heart. Interesting. They also note that Mr. Smith and his lawyers have themselves identified the method as preferable to the troubled practice of lethal injection in the state. Yeah. Holy crap. Anyways, guys, you can see what's going here. What's your guys' comments on this? How do you guys feel about this? Put it in the chat. John Doe gets in here and says nitrogen displaces oxygen without causing. Yep, you're correct. Is what causes the sensation of suffocation. Absolutely. I just hope there's no suffering. Is my main concern. Thank you, John Doe, for that. I appreciate it. Problem is that it's likely to cause MI. Trey Stone said, I love The Life of David Gale, 2003, a film about a professor, I hope I read that right, who is sentenced to death for murdering a fellow activist and asks a reporter to prove his innocence. Sad movie. Wow, sounds interesting. You might have to send me. Well, actually, already you did. I'll have to look it up and watch it. But that, thank you so much, Trey, for that info. And John Doe, thank you so much for chiming in here too. I appreciate you, buddy. You guys, look, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of this. If you guys want to read this whole entire thing in its entirety, here's Kenneth Smith, real quick. I'm gonna make this fast. Here's Kenneth Smith. All right, and if you guys want to know more about what's going on with him and this whole entire case, you guys can go to the New York Times and look at everything that's here and read it all there. Okay, guys, I'm going to go back up the top page here and show you again. This is Kenneth Smith. This is the one that is due to get the nitrogen in his lungs. It was posted by the New York Times. Go check it out. I will put the link to this in the description of this video after this live is over. But what's your guys' take on this, man? I mean, this is just absolutely disheartening. I'm going to put Trey's comment up here. I'm lost for words, guys. I'm literally lost for words. If you haven't seen this movie that Trey's mentioning, go check it out. It'll give you guys a better idea. My good friend John Doe gets in here and says this. I just hope there's no suffering. I hope this is going to be quick and painless, in my personal opinion. Absolutely bullshit. Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. There you guys have it. I mean, you guys are all on point here. And my friend got in here and says he and his lawyer asked for this. Oh, interesting. Well, I wasn't aware of it, but thanks for telling me that. I appreciate it. All info is good info. My friend Cynthia said this. So inhumane and disgusting. Absolutely. Oops. Where did I go? My good friend Sterling gets in here and says the America used the intel and ran with it. Yeah, absolutely. Sterling, thank you so much for that info too as well. You also said this. Nazis did experimental. I remember that. Yeah, this is crazy. John Doe said it was supposed to have been 2 hours ago. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they got it delayed or not, but as you guys can see, there's a lot of issues with this. Let's see what else is being said here by the chat. Trey gets in here and says Kenneth Smith and lawyer probably doesn't want another injection. Yeah, and as you guys saw in the information there on the page, they attempted this the first time and they couldn't get a vein, and he was in pain on that one too as well. So that's crazy. I don't know what causes them not to get a vein. If I remember right, and I think veins shrink. I don't know if you guys can see my veins. They're pretty big. You can see them anyways. They're there. They pop out of my hand. But when you get, like, if you're sick or you're cold or something like that, they shrink up and you can barely see them, even though they're still there. So I think a lot of it is when you're nervous or you got something going on, your veins shrink because you got fear. You're scared. I think I read that correctly. Now I should have had that up here on here to prove that, but that's what's been proven anyways. When you're scared and all that, your veins shrink down to different size. Like right now, I'm perfectly fine. You guys can see my veins; they stick out anyways, but you get the idea. But still, I'm totally against the death penalty anyways, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I feel about it. And I'm just disgusted with how they do things. But anyways, guys, put your comments in. Let me know what you think about tonight's broadcast. I wanted to give you guys an update of what's going on for the remaining of the week. As you guys know, tomorrow is Man's Night, and as you guys know, I will have a special guest on Man's Night. I don't want to spoil it. So if you want to know who it is and all of that, you're going to have to tune in tomorrow on Man's Night, 9:00 Central Standard Time, to check it out. Now, if you're subbed to me, all right, if you're subbed to me, you'll get the notification on your device that I'm going live tomorrow. So don't want to miss it. So I wanted to give a update on my merch. If you guys are curious, here's the new merch I have on the screen right here. Imagine That hoodie. If you're interested, the link's in the chat to go check it out. There's my new merch, Imagine That, which I will be doing Imagine That segment also here tonight for this topic. Also on the show or up on the store also is Let's Make Our Government Afraid Again. Absolutely perfect for this year anyways. If you're like me and can't stand with the corruption and within our government, this shirt's for you. Go check it out. The link's in the chat. All right. But I do have an interesting Imagine That segment tonight, and I think it's absolutely fitting for tonight. I'm going to get in that in just a second. Let me get back to the chat real quick. Kenneth, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I already put that one up. My bad. Here's Trey Stone. Aging-related alterations of the circulatory system can make veins hard to find. Absolutely. So it is correct. And what I read and what research I did, if you got something going on with yourself, your veins will shrink depending on what you got going on. And Cynthia gave me a bunch of blue hearts. Thank you, Cynthia. Appreciate it. Absolutely. So anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and kick off the segment for Imagine That and how I feel about tonight's podcast. The situation, I mean, there's got to be a better way of going about this. And I just, it turns my stomach. It makes me sick. It literally makes me sick. But anyways, let's go ahead and kick off the segment called Imagine That. Thanks, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode of Imagine That. Man, I can tell you guys right now, you already know how I feel about tonight's episode, tonight's podcast, and the death penalty and the crap that this guy has to go through. But this is my spin. This is my take on it. First off, it seems to me now, more than anything lately, that Alabama, Mississippi, and God knows how many other southern state prisons out here are becoming science labs. Okay. And our locked up loved ones are becoming lab rats. All right. I mean, there's no other way around it. I mean, again, 215 bodies found buried behind a jail in Mississippi. Good job, Mississippi. Body parts missing out of inmates' chest. I mean, what more else do we need to do to our humans, to our loved ones? There is absolutely no respect out here at all, period. None. No respect. And I'm just beyond livid over it. So my take on this, guys, is simple. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I totally feel that we as American people need to stand up and do something with this. Change this crap. Abolish the death penalty in Alabama. You know, my home state of Washington don't even do it anymore. They used to have it. They took it out. I think Texas still does it. Alabama does it. And a few others still do it. You know how I feel about death penalties. It doesn't justify anything. It doesn't make the situation any better. I'm not condoning the crimes, because, whatever he or she did to me is irrelevant. Being in prison is your punishment enough. So let's just kill this guy and make that a justification for the victims and the family. So both sides of the fence lose a loved one. So how does that heal or make things any better? I'll never understand it. Now the Deep South prisons out here are becoming science labs. And if you're like me, you want change and you want this stuff to stop, you're going to have to stand with me and take our asses down to the Capitol in Alabama and stand firm and say, enough is enough. And that's why I say, damn, imagine that. Thank you guys so much for being a part of that Imagine That segment. Thank you guys so much. My friend Chad Marks gets in here and says, it's done. I have the video. Wow. Okay. Well, you guys heard it right there. Chad, if you guys can hear me, or Chad, if you can hear me, I'm sorry. If you can, send the video to me at my email, if you can, please. Or somehow, I don't know if you can put it in the chat or not. We'll figure it out. But Chad, send it to me at my email, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Again, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. And I will do what I can to put this video up and show it whatever the video it is. But thank you so much for that update, Chad. I got a lot of respect for you on that. Trey said, the true criminals run the prisons. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Interesting stuff. So, Chad, again, you guys see it there. I appreciate the update. I was not aware of that. Chad Marks, if you can hear me, again, please send the video if you can, or find a way to send it to me. We'll get a hold of me and we'll work out something nonetheless. But get a hold of me right now at voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. I really want to see this video. Unbelievable. Thanks again, Chad. And Trey, everybody else is on fire tonight. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this podcast. You guys are awesome. We do really have an issue. We do have problems. And I'm just beyond livid with it. We as American people, we as the people, we as taxpayers just know we can do better. And we're not ever going to get anything done by just, sitting around doing nothing and complaining. I should technically be in Alabama right now, but obviously now it's too late. I guess it was from what I gather, I guess it was a successful execution. I just hope he didn't suffer. May he rest in peace. And my condolences and whatnot to all the families and victims in this situation. I hope you guys can find, healing in all of this and peace. Man, yeah. I'm going to do everything I can not to lose my composure here, guys, because, you guys all know how I feel about this. It's absolutely a sickening and just a very sickening and heartening thing to deal with. I hate these type of podcasts. So that's why I look forward to doing other ones like Man's Night tomorrow. Because sometimes I need to disconnect from this kind of shit because it's constant. Every day it's something negative within our prisons. And I'm just appalled with it, guys. Man. Anyways, I send my thoughts and prayers and condolences to not Trey's family. I'm sorry, the individual that got executed. I also send my thoughts and prayers to the family that are victims of the crime that happened in 1988. Nonetheless, guys, this doesn't solve anything. This doesn't make things better. This doesn't heal. This isn't justice. To me, it's absolutely inhumane. But yeah, this is crap. Absolutely crap. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for joining. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, put it in the chat right now and I'll do what I can to answer them. Like I said, you guys, if you missed it again, I'll go back to the article. I will show it real quick. And again, and I'll put it back up here just for proof. My good friend, Chad Marks got in here and said, it's done. I have the video. So he's already been executed for the ones that just tuned in. And to back up what happened here, let me go ahead and show you the article again, guys, just for shits and giggles for here tonight. So as you guys know, according to Chad now, I'm going to go all the way down and show the picture. Here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the individual that just got executed, Kenneth Smith. I hope he is resting in peace. And, his sentence is now over. I don't condone what he did. I want you guys to know that on the record on this podcast here tonight. I don't condone what he did. What's up, Redeeming? Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. But nonetheless, he has now been executed under the new nitrogen. Thank you, Duke. How you doing, Duke? But anyways, there you guys go. There it is. Absolutely appalling. My friend Redeemin said, hello, what's up, Redeemin? How you doing? And God has him now. Rest in peace. Absolutely. Trey says, so beware. Yep. And understanding we don't condone what anyone does. Absolutely. And my friend Duke gets in here and says, hello. Absolutely, guys. And this is where we're at with it. Wow. So my question for you guys is this. I want to ask a question. Hey, Sterling, what's going on? I see you. I want to ask a question to you guys. If you guys were able to, and this is basically a yes or no question. If you guys were able to, and we're out here in the Deep South in Alabama of all places, would you stand at the Capitol with me and show me your support and how you feel about the death penalty? That's yes or no question. I know that I'd be, whatever state is dealing with whatever crap is going on, I'd be there if I had an opportunity to do that. My friend Sterling gets in here and says, is correct. Asking for fair treatment is not justifying any crimes. Absolutely. We as Americans can do better. Since when the hell did we become judge, jury, and executioner? Since when did we get the job being a boss, being God? Trey gets in here and says this, I would, but I can't travel. I understand. And then my friend said, I can't, not enough travel. I can't, not enough. I get it, man. I get it. But at least your intent is there. If you could, you would. So I appreciate it nonetheless. But I would, absolutely. And perfectly said here, Redeeming. Absolutely. We have to learn and grow as humans. Absolutely. You know, we have to constantly educate ourselves. There's no such thing as overeducated. You know, guys, I mean, we have to educate ourselves and know what we're doing and use this education as a tool, not against us. Perfectly said, Redeeming. Thank you, my friend. Much respect for every single one of you in here tonight. But nonetheless, I felt it was my duty, I guess, in a sense, because of what I am and who I am. I felt it was my duty to get up in here tonight and do a podcast under this topic. It's, as you guys already know, how I feel about the death penalty. And I could have sworn, I thought that Alabama didn't do it. But I gotta double check that, because I know I did a podcast on what states do the death penalty and which ones don't. I'm gonna have to go back over there and check that out. Nonetheless, like I said, I'm still learning as I go too, guys, and I'm not claiming I know everything. I'm a human, and I will make mistakes. And you know, it is what it is. And my good friend Cynthia just gets in here and says this, and that's why we appreciate you and respect you, Jay. Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Sterling, my friend, gets in here and says this, politicians use tough on crime as their platform. Absolutely, because it gets votes. That's correct, guys. It gets votes. But there can be too tough on crime. Yeah. I think, honestly, look, this is how I feel about it. And I agree what you're saying, Sterling. I also want to say this, or add this to what you just said. Me personally, I don't think getting tough on crime solves anything. Obviously, thanks to you know who, he did that tough on crime bill, and look where everybody's at right now. I don't think we need to get tough, or I should say tougher. I think we need to look at this from a different perspective. That's how I look at it. Because getting tough on crime doesn't solve anything. Obviously, we're going through it right now. But thanks, Sterling, for your comment. Much appreciated. Redeeming gets in here and says this, I believe all ages can learn good and unlearn what got us into trouble, learn from mistakes, also heal victims. Absolutely, man. Redeeming, I love your mindset, man. I love how you think. You're going to go places, man. You're going to go places. And I just absolutely love how you bring these ideas and whatnot to the table. A lot of respect for you. Trey said this, and I appreciate the comments, guys. I never told that I didn't deserve punishment, but innocent people were executed. Blackstone's ratio is the idea that it is better that 10 guilty persons escape than that one innocent suffer. Absolutely. Perfectly said. Find the factors, what causes us act out. Absolutely. And I'm glad you hit on that, Redeeming. You guys can see it in the chat. I'm glad you hit on that, because here's why I think a lot of the reasons why crime itself happens. Again, if you guys remember what I said before, we're not born into this world a criminal. We don't have criminal mindset. We're taught all this stuff. These are all choices that we decide to make as we get older, because we do what we call spontaneous thinking. We don't think of the consequences when we do our actions. It's all of this, we don't think before we do, is what I'm getting at. And a lot of this shit, guys, can be prevented, as you guys all know. We don't sit back and take what is it, 5-10 minutes and think about what we're gonna do before we do it. And I think that's a lot of the reason why crimes happen. But then yet you add other elements to it, and then boom, you got a power keg that's just ready to go off. All it takes is one idiot, with all due respect, to light the fuse. It takes one tiny little spark, ladies and gentlemen, to start a forest fire. And it's the same thing with crime. It takes one person to start the roller coaster ride of criminal history. I love to think outside the box. You, me, Sterling, among others, should be able to move civilian. Absolutely. It's called planting seeds. And Sterling's on the same page as I am. We're going to do what we can to plant seeds and do what we need to educate the masses, because I believe we can put a stop to crime without getting tough on crime. We got to change that mindset. Thank you, Redeeman. Redeeman said this, or diverted and educate people to think about what they've done. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Perfect. See, it doesn't take a genius or college grad or a person with a high IQ to get things fixed here in this country. It's not hard. I'm being serious, guys. It's not hard. All we have to do is put our mindset where it needs to be. Stop thinking, negatively, and start thinking positive. Because again, folks, positive brings peace. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. We got to stop the bullshit. Okay? We got to stop thinking materialistic. That's what causes crime too. Everybody wants the next best thing. Everybody wants the next best awesome updated cell phone or technology, and people that can't afford it will go steal it. People are always wanting all of this materialistic bullshit. Everybody wants a buttload of money, but once you have all of this stuff, are you still happy? Think about that for a second. Are you happy? You can have everything, including the moon, stars, sun, and people still aren't happy. So Trey said this, just word phenomenon is biased that the world is just. Denies the reality of someone experience and other variables that contributed, I'm sorry guys, to a person's actions. Absolutely. And my friend Redeeming gets in here and says, or both, but be equal, not over the top. Absolutely. 50-50, be fair. Think outside the box and do things from a positive thing. Education is key. A friend said this, no one that I know sets out and wakes one day thinking, today I want to become a criminal. Absolutely. No, they don't. That's the thing. Nobody really ever thinks anymore. They just do. And go, oops, I fucked up. Then it's too late. But you're spot on. And then, of course, Cynthia, my great friend, gets in here. It's a revolving door. Absolutely. Spins constantly, and it's a money-making machine. It's never going to shut down. It's like Vegas. It's a 24-hour, endless, sleepless city. Same thing with our criminal justice system. It is what it is. And Redeeming, exactly. There's people with development and learning disabilities in the system. Absolutely. So, and you brought a great point, Redeeming. Where should those people go? Should disability people that have disabilities or got some type of mental issue or concern, should they be in prison or should they be in a hospital? My statement is this. People with disabilities obviously aren't normal, I guess, in a sense. I hate to use that word. And they have no idea, in some circumstances, in some cases, they have no idea what they're doing. So should they be punished because they're disabled? No. They should be put somewhere else besides a prison and get checked and reevaluated there. Um, absolutely. Lady Liberty is holding a scale. Society needs to keep their finger off the scale. Absolutely. We do that, we'll get rid of the corruption too. Corruption's weighing it down too, Sterling. And the corruption runs deep. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Man, well, there's a sad ending story to the podcast here tonight, guys, obviously. And all I can say is rest in peace. And hopefully he didn't suffer. That's all I can say. Yeah, God. Anyways, guys, Cynthia said only difference is that there are no winners on our corrupted system. No, there isn't. You're absolutely correct. No, there isn't. And my friend John Doe gets back in here and says another case in point. Yep, absolutely. Yep. You guys, man, I love every single one of you. You guys are awesome. I know this was like a spontaneous, unscripted, in a sense, podcast for tonight, but I wanted to get it out there anyways. I wanted to update you guys on me and what's going on with me. I feel better. I'm not as sick anymore as I was for that whole entire week. So I'm back in the hot seat, as you guys can see. I'm back doing my podcast. And then, of course, I still got some behind the scenes drama going on still, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated on the outcome of that. So yeah, we're definitely doing big things over here. So tune in tomorrow, guys. I have a special guest. I'd love to say who it is, but I don't want to spoil it because I want you guys to be a part of it tomorrow. He's going to be live up on my panel. And we're going to be discussing a few things and some big plans that we got going on for this podcast. I'm looking forward to it. Nonetheless, it's going to be a win-win for both ends, him and me. Anyway, Sterling said this: the courts evidently don't see the 30, 40 years the guy served as punishment. No, they don't. So again, real quick, Redeeming Patriot is a individual who I got a lot of respect for. If you guys want to kick it over there with him, he has, actually, Redeeming, if you can hear me, I don't know if you can do it, but can you put your information in the chat so people can find out how to find you and get over there and be a part of your program, as I call it, an educational course? You want me to get people involved? Here's your opportunity. Here's your chance. Redeeming Patriot. If you have an email, put your email in the chat so they can email you and go from there. I'm sure everybody in the chat wants to chat with you. Get with this guy. He's got an awesome mindset. I'm over there. I chat with the group and I try to help with them. Nonetheless, if you guys want to get a hold of him, please do that. Redeeming, if you have an email, put it in the chat, please. Cynthia gets in and says, thank you for the updates. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I have to keep you guys updated or everybody else is in the dark, and I don't like that. So, it is what it is. So Redeeming, what's your email? It said, okay, deal. Appreciate it. If you have an email, put it in the chat, Redeeming, your email, so they can get a hold of you before I bounce out of here. John Doe, my good friend, is also over there too, by the way. The reason these guys sit 40 years is because appeals that take that long. Absolutely. I should do a podcast on appeals. I think you guys would be amazed of that and how that works. Such a slow moving justice wheel. It does not move fast. But if the shoe was on the other foot and say, for example, you owe them money or you got this going on, they want it right now and they're going to get it. Nope, if you don't pay up or do this or do that, they'll put you in the clinker. But man, if you want them to speed up their action, it's like slow as molasses. Trace said this: courts want death as a deterrent. Yeah, some deterrent. Studies show no link between the presence or absence of death penalty and murder rates. No, absolutely. Thank you, Trey. Spot on. Appreciate you. Let's see. Where was I at here? So, Redeeming, what's your email? Can you please put your email in the chat? I don't know if you did or not. Put it in the chat. That way I can put it up here and yell it out so people know how to find you, because I think a lot of people want to connect. I'm trying to get you some people in. I know my good friend Sterling is kicking it with you now. I don't know who else wants to. But before I bounce, is there a way, Redeeming, you can put your email in there? Because I do not know it by heart right now. So I'll wait for you to do that. Thank you, Cynthia, for your comment. All right. Before we bounce out of here, guys, if you guys want to get hooked up with Redeeming, this is what he looks like here. He said, okay, deal. Redeeming Patriot. He's over on Google Chats. I wish I could find a way to show you how to get a hold of this guy, but we're going to have to work something out so you guys can get over there and say hi to him. He's got a great mindset, and I like working with him. Everybody, including John Doe, Trey, Sterling. Yeah, you guys are right on the. You guys are on the same page. Oh, I got Redeeming coming in here. Before we bounce, let's go ahead and add him in here.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, Redeeming. How you doing, Redeeming?
Pretty good, pretty good. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. Another day in paradise, as you can see.
Yeah, I already posted on the chat, like you asked. It's redeemingpatriots.com or redeemingpatriot.com or freedomring@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So which one's more beneficial for you, or does it matter?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And
okay. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the guy was, sent away. I mean, when you screw around, you're gonna find out. But sometimes death isn't always the answer,
Right. No, I totally hear you. I agree. And it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't heal anything.
My proposition is, aside from restorative justice, yes, there needs to be repercussions, but at the same time, it needs to be fitting to what happened, to what was done. I'm not trying to take. I'm not trying to.
I agree.
I'm not trying to take no money from the justice system. If you want, as long as it's dealt with, cool. But at the same time, if you really want to bring back people to be more functioning, well, find out what's going on in the heads. Ask questions. Also, find out who was involved. I know there's a health statute limitations, but if someone did something bad to you, which may have gotten you to, well, how do I put this delicately? Act out in the way you did, doing something similar, regardless of the age of whoever did it to you, they need to be held accountable. Everyone wants justice. Everyone wants revenge. I believe in a justified sentence. Maybe alternative solutions. But at the same time, as long as there's punishment, but mercy as well. If they want to grow as a person, cool. If no one else wants to grow, that's their ass.
I agree. I totally agree, because again, we can't heal or make things better if we're not all on the same page. We can't fight. You know what I'm saying?
Fight fire with fire.
Yeah. We can't go after each other and point fingers at everybody and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. That's what's going on." We need to think outside the box.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But anyways, I don't think labels will define the human being. You are not your past mistakes. However, if you want to live up to that label, that's on you. That's on them.
Right. So Redeeming, I don't know if you can hear me good enough, but my friend Marty232 just got in here and asked, what's his website? So can you kind of slowly again verbalize your website so people can find you?
Right now, my website is kind of under construction, so I'm using a Wix website, so I gotta have to redo a lot of things. I'll keep you
That's fine.
posted. I'll keep you posted, but I do have a Hangouts, if you will. So I will. So if you want to send me your emails, I'll add you to my group's Hangouts. But I'm also going to do interviews. My homie Independent here will also be one of the interviewees. You know, because I want to make sure he's one of my co-captains. So I want to make sure we get the right people to join us. You know.
Right. So verbalize real quick, Redeeming, verbalize your email slowly so Marty can hear it.
redeemingpatriots@gmail.com or freedomread@gmail.com.
All right. I hope you guys all got that. Again, the emails have been verbalized. Go check them out. And I'm over there too. I'm in the chats on Google Chats or Google Hangouts. I'm over there. So be a part of that. And let's work together and try to do some healing here. Sterling got in here and says, I can guarantee that the man they executed was not the man he was when he committed his crime. Absolutely, Sterling. Perfectly said.
It is what it is, unfortunately.
Yep. Thank you, Cynthia. I totally agree with you, Sterling. We will all stand before the same judge in the end. Absolutely. Perfectly said. So before I bounce out of here, Redeeming, is there anything you want to add before we bounce?
Let's make America worth giving second chances and bring common sense and decency.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Redeeming, again, thank you for jumping in here late, but nonetheless, thank you for jumping in here. I appreciate it. Well, eventually, later down the road, we're going to have to do a podcast together, but I appreciate your boss.
No problem, homie. Be strong. You do you, man.
Yeah, you too. You take care.
Later.
Later. All right, there you guys have it. Redeeming got in here. I got a lot of respect for that guy. He's doing some good things over there nonetheless. And John Doe gets in here and says this real quick. Sterling, in this case, yes. However, Gacy denied the murders right up until his execution. Yeah, that's all because of his mindset. But perfectly said. Thank you guys so much for your guys' chats and your communication and all of that. It's very much appreciated. One more from John Doe said this. It is for those that cannot realize they have a problem wherein they remain in a danger while incarcerated. Absolutely. That's because incarceration doesn't fix you. There is no correction in corrections. It is what it is. But with that said, thank you guys so much for joining and being part of this podcast. You guys are great. I love and respect every single one of you. We're all considered family here. And I love and respect every single one of you. Nonetheless, it's been an honor and a privilege for us to be in here. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, put it in the chat or email me right now at voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Again, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Again, if you are interested in any of my merch, there it is. Imagine that. The link's in the chat. Check it out. Or if you want it, I can email it to you. It's on my YouTube page nonetheless. And then, of course, there's the other one. Let's make our government afraid again. Absolutely fitting. All right. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and back out of here. It's been another great podcast here. Excuse me, tonight. I appreciate it. Much love and respect to you all. I'm your host, Jay. I will see you guys in the next one. Good night, everybody.